Hello and welcome to week 17 of NFL Game Picks. I know this is not a good look for the boy.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Week 17, man.
We made it.
2 more weeks of regular season, and then we get to the playoffs, which is going to be very exciting.
Fire.
Hopefully, at least 2 of our teams make it. We know one's officially eliminated, but
Hey.
yeah. Speaking of our teams, I'll lead us off. Yeah, this looks really bad. I don't like how this looks.
I'm sorry.
I like it when I'm wearing it and like the Bears and Packers are playing, but when I have to wear it after the Dolphins and Packers play, it's not a good look.
Yeah.
Especially like, one of the guys who picked off Tua starting to run.
Shout out to Devondre Campbell, the 239 Fort Myers kid.
Dude, when he jumped out, I was like, man. Like, I know you were ecstatic too.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was like, good play, but I was like, fuck, bro, it's not good for us. Anyways, yeah, Dolphins, bad loss, 4-game skid, just not where you want to be, especially with the playoff hunt. Spot's not gone, stayed in the 7th seed spot, but bad news, Tua's out with a concussion. He was labeled with it on Monday. The hit happened. What the expected, like what people think what the hit was in the second quarter, last 2 minutes, took a hit, boom, back in the back of his head. That's what everyone's kind of pointing to and saying that it was a hit. No one knows exactly what led to it, but that's only like one that's like, you can back that one. You know, aside from that, his play was different from one half to the other. Sorry for audio guys, I just knocked the shit out of the mic. Yeah, his play was different from like the first to second half, and that was from pre-concussion, post-concussion, what people are expected. But that doesn't excuse the lack of play and everyone else around him. But Dolphins still have a chance to secure their spot in the playoffs. Just need to win a game. If not, at least win these next 2 games. Big divisional games coming up. We'll speak about it coming up. But hopefully everything's all right with Tua. And, yeah, he was going over the game with McDaniels on Monday, and he's like, yeah, something isn't right here. And then he sent him to the doctor, and that's when they officially diagnosed him with the concussion. So it's a little weird, but, hey, it happened. And what can you do? Hopefully Tua's all right. Possibility of him playing? No idea. He could either not play another down in the NFL ever again. He can probably not play another down for this season. No one knows at this moment. Hopefully everything's all right with him and his family.
Yeah, I hope everything's okay with Tua as well. I was hoping for a good game, but I wasn't.
It was a very good game.
It was a great game, but I was hoping for like a good game from Tua. Like I was hoping for kind of like a quarterback duel. I ended up starting him in my fantasy league, and now I will be turning this trophy over. So there potentially might be a new winner, or there might be a repeating champion. So we'll see what happens. But it will not be in my hands very much longer. This is the last appearance of the trophy on the show. But the Packers,
Oh, God.
man, what a great man, what a great win, what a great win for the Packers. All I gotta say is, we went into Miami on Christmas, definitely not favored.
You guys
I
stole
definitely
Christmas.
didn't believe in us, and we pulled it out. I was pretty shocked to walk away with a win and still be alive. And yeah, got 2 more games left and need a little bit more help.
Yeah, we lost to Buffalo, but it was expected.
As expected.
As expected. They're pretty good. We're pretty bad this year.
You guys had the lead at some point.
Yeah, we had the lead going into halftime. It was like 10-6 or something like
I
that.
ain't gonna lie, they had us in the first half.
Hey. Yeah, but then they scored 30, and we scored 3 in the second half, so we lost. So looking forward to this week.
Oh, man.
Good week for us.
All right, now we're back to the regularly scheduled programming, Dolphins gear. Yeah, here we go. We're going to go into the standings. Standings are not looking good for the boy, but still on top in terms of all 3 of us here, but we'll get into the top of the leaderboard. Steve, great having you on last week. 158 wins, 82 losses, 11-5 last week. Not the best record of this week. We'll talk about that in a sec. But then the next 3 guys went 10-6 last week. We have Eddie and Matt, who are tied for 48, 92, second place overall. 3rd/4th place is myself, 154, 95 after a 10-6 week as well. And then we have the bottom half of the bracket.
Hey, look at me rising. I'm at
jumping.
140 and 100. Nice even number, nice round numbers. I like it. Went 12-4 last, or no, I went 11-5. Excuse me, last week. 12-4 a week before, and I'm one game ahead of this guy over here.
Yeah, I mean, I had a great week last week. I was 12-4, best week out of everybody.
What?
But just trying to get ahead of these guys. Hopefully, make it interesting. I know I won't be able to catch old Steve-O, but
Yeah,
we'll see what
Steve's a little
happens.
too far.
We'll see what
10-game gap
happens.
between him and the next person.
Yeah, he's killing it.
And then the rest of the leaderboard, we have Mark in 6th place, 137, 103, 8-8 last week. 0-16 for DJ. You forgot to pick, bud. That's my only thing. Like, if DJ actually went 0-16, he'll be probably the first person that went 16-0 and 0-16 ever. Not in the same year though. Last year he had a perfect week. He's at the bottom, 132, 108. Aside from Steve, everyone is within reach of each other. Some people may need a perfect week to shoot that up, but hey, you'll never know with this league. But at this point in the season, we kind of know who teams are, who's fighting for spots. So let's talk about two teams that are fighting for playoff spots. We have Dallas Cowboys, who secured their playoff spot. They, no matter what happens the rest of the season, they will be in the playoffs. And then we have the Tennessee Titans, who lost their division lead in the AFC South to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they have a big Week 18 matchup against one another. So we'll see. That more than likely will become the Sunday night game next week, but that scheduling is still yet to come out. It's going to come out after this week. Dallas is heavily favored in this game, -12, -650 on the money line. Over-under set at 39.5. Not expecting a lot of points. Going with the boys, easy pick here. Some injuries the guys will get into, but one thing is Malik Willis didn't look horrible, but he didn't look great for the Titans last week. It was more so on the running game of Derrick Henry, and that's one of the guys who we're going to talk about. Who wants to go?
I'll go.
Oh, shit.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'm going to make it short and sweet. Got the Cowboys. Derrick Henry's not going to be out there. Didn't practice all week. They play tomorrow. He's doubtful. Not going to be out there. Once again, I'm going to reiterate it. That's huge for my decision, going with the Cowboys, even though they might not have one of their running backs in. If Chris wants to talk about that.
Tony Pollard?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he might be out. I don't know. Even so, they still got Zeke. CeeDee Lamb went nuts last week. If you watched that game. Not a big Malik Willis guy. I'm going with the boys, even though it's on the road in Tennessee, which, Tennessee's usually pretty good, but like you guys mentioned, a lot of injuries there.
Yeah, and one other thing is Joey was like one of the only ones last week to get the Tennessee Titans Houston Texans games right, and that was just him going on a limb, and that was really what separated you from having the best record last
Hell
week,
yeah.
which was pretty cool.
Let's go. We're going to be going out a couple more limbs today.
All right, Joey, since you're on cam, let's go to this next
Yeah,
game.
let's do it. We got the most meaningless game out of all the games. We got the Atlanta Falcons hosting the Arizona Cardinals. As the news came out that J.J. Watt is going to retire. Shout out to J.J. Watt. It was his last home game last week. He won't be playing any more home games for the remainder of his career. And he's going to retire without a Super Bowl, which is pretty sad. So just shout out to the kid from Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Shout out to the Badger. But he might not even finish with a win for the rest of his season. So I'm going to go with the Falcons here. They got a lot, I guess, more to play for. I mean, not really. They're the home team. Going to go with them.
Well, in terms of playing for anything, both teams are eliminated from playoff contention.
Yeah.
So this is the only game out of all 16 games this week that has no meaning in terms of playoff implications, which is very interesting. I mean, it's a late one to, finally have those type of games because, usually you'll have a few games around week 15, 16 at the earliest of, having no playoff implications. So it's pretty cool that every team is still left with a possible chance of playing in the playoffs in terms of who's playing. That point makes zero sense. I'm going to go with the Falcons. Falcons, as much as I want to go with the Cardinals, I think they are the better team with players healthy, but they don't have Kyler Murray. Cole McCoy isn't even possibly playing this game, so it's going to be Trace McSorley throwing the ball. And then, the whole thing with J.J. Watt, awesome career, bro, and wish you the best in your future ventures.
Yeah, it's sad about JJ. It's sad that he didn't mention it before the last home game so they could give him some extra love or something. Which tells me maybe he's not done. Maybe he's just done in Arizona.
That conspiracy
We'll see.
theory.
We'll see. Yeah, I love the conspiracies. Always got to ride with them. I'm going to go with Atlanta at home. I think Ritter gets his first win in the NFL here. And, Cardinals, like we talked about, the Titans. Cardinals are in the same situation where they're kind of banged up at the end of the year. So I'm going to take the home team.
Nice. All right, let's talk about a game that actually does have big playoff implications because whoever wins this more than likely wins the NFC South, and this is the Carolina Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At home, Tampa's favored -3, -165 on the money line, over-under set at 45.5. And both teams have not looked great. And weeks you think they had a good performance the previous week, that they should perform better in the upcoming matchup, they pretty much soiled the bet, to put it in the nicest of terms. I find it hard to pick this one, but I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to go with the more sure bet, and that is Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just think at the end of the day, if I had to pick one team of these two to go on to get in the playoffs, I'd, one, rather see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and two, rather place my expectations on Tom Brady performing, especially when your back's up against the wall, pretty much when you've seen the best out of him his entire career.
I'm actually ride with the away team in an upset here. Whoever wins this game more than likely is probably going to go on to win the division, so huge implications here. Tampa, I just watched that game against the Redskins last week, I believe, and it was just awful.
Commanders.
Whoa, dude.
Commanders. Oh, I'm canceled. Damn.
Counts.
Anyways, I'm going to take the away team. Carolina ran the ball for 300 yards last week against the Lions.
Which is their winning strategy. They need to do that.
So I think they're going to have a decent run game. Tampa is obviously a lot better at defense than the Lions, but I'm going to take the away team in an upset against Tom Brady, even though he's at home.
Yeah, it's really hard to, go against Tom Brady, but I'm going to do it. Panthers looked a lot better in my eyes than the Buccaneers did last week as of recently. And I'm going off of recency bias and riding with the Panthers and Sam Darnold to win this division and go on a little playoff run.
Go, Chris. We got one of your favorite games of the week.
This is a great game. Chicago at Detroit, my team versus my dad's team. It's also my dad's birthday on Friday.
Hey.
So shout out to my dad. Happy birthday. Love you, big guy.
Happy birthday, Dougie.
Happy birthday, Dougie.
And just for you, I'm going to pick your Lions, buddy. I'm going to go with the Lions at home. Obviously, they're a better team at this point than the Bears, even though it pains me to say this. But they are. Hopefully the Bears keep losing. I keep saying that, but hopefully we do to get this pick. Probably it will actually maybe be involved with you, Austin, maybe, because I think you guys might need a top 5 pick for a quarterback here soon, maybe. So maybe we'll do some wheeling and dealing. But anyways, I'm going to take the Lions at home. Hopefully they win. I'd really like to see the Lions in the playoffs. No offense, Joey, but I've seen the Packers plenty of times in the playoffs, and it'd be nice. My dad needs a win here. Going with the Lions.
This dude just insulted both of us in one sentence.
I'm not insulted, believe me.
Either way, I'm going to go with the Lions as well. I think they're going to get a nice big birthday dub for your dad. And then on top of that, they need to play for the playoffs. And, this is what they have going for them. Tough loss last week for them. It was one of those games that I wouldn't call it a layup because I'm not saying the Panthers are just any team to look over. But they were definitely a team that wanted it more than the Detroit Lions. And that's something that a lot of teams haven't been able to say in a while against this Detroit Lions team. So it's interesting to see. But what do you think, Joey?
So, okay. Here's the deal. The Lions, looked really underwhelming against the Panthers last week, but the Panthers had a lot to play for. It was a weird game. I don't think that they get this same result against the Bears. I'm going with the Lions. who knows? Justin Fields might be the type of guy to make it interesting and F around and win this game and screw up their draft pick. And, just kind of that whole deal, and the
Never know.
same old Lions type thing might come out. Listen, I know everybody wants to see the Lions in the playoffs. If we got to be the bad guy, then so be it. I mean, shit. They're not going to be in there, folks. We're gonna go on a little bit of a run here. But I think that it makes this win makes our game against them next week a lot more interesting.
I wouldn't say so much on that. Don't guarantee anything yet.
I ain't guaranteeing
You guys
it.
have a tough opponent. But so what happens if you both win? Because you guys both have the same record right now, right? 7-8, both of you.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you both keep on the same trajectory, then
Whoever wins that game gets the.
almost 100%. But at the same time,
we both need help.
yeah,
from
you
Washington.
need Washington to lose. Speaking of Washington, they're playing the Cleveland Browns. They are hosting the Cleveland Browns. January Sunday 1st. Said that all completely backwards. Commanders did not my bad. The Cleveland Browns didn't look good last week. Commanders didn't look good either, but they ran into the 49ers. Unfortunate for them. Carson Wentz named the starter officially for this week for the Washington Commanders. Sorry, Taylor Heineke. I guess no more J's for him this season. This one's a tough one for me to pick because I feel like the Browns could play spoiler here and kind of help out Joey and the Green Bay Packers, but I'm not too sure about that. I think the Commanders can get this win, but it's going to be a tough one. I think they're going to pull it out within the last 2 drives, if we want to be very specific.
I'm going to go with Washington at home. I do think it might be close. Deshaun Watson in the offense for the Browns hasn't looked great. They're eliminated too, so I don't know. Maybe they'll pull him eventually, like if it's a slaughter fest or.
Who, Watson?
Yeah.
No shot. He's staying in.
You think? I don't know, but I don't think it's. I don't know. I just not really looking forward to this game. I think you don't really know what to expect, but I expect for the Commanders to win.
Like, they spent so much money on him in the offseason, and especially with the suspension, he's going to play the entire rest of the season. It doesn't matter.
I have the Cleveland Browns. Sorry, needed to happen. Going with it. Lock it in.
I already had it placed. I knew you were
Going
with
with the going with the criminal again. Sucks, but needed to come through. Go Browns. Just need it.
All right, Joey, take us to this next game.
Next game, we got the Denver Broncos headed into Arrowhead to play against the Kansas City Chiefs. This game's simple. Broncos suck. They got blown the hell out by Baker Mayfield on Christmas Day.
Yep.
Didn't even let his punter have a single punt. Didn't even let him get on the field. First time in Baker Mayfield's career he's let that happen. So, yeah, this is the team's abysmal. The Chiefs are looking great. They're 12-3, probably going to get the number 1 seed. I mean, they're in contention. I don't even really know how the AFC's shaping, really. But all I know is that they're a contender. They're a top team. Going with the Chiefs. It's a pretty easy game to pick.
I think we're all going the same way here. So, Kansas City across the board for all of us. In terms of standings, we have the Kansas City Chiefs in second place. Buffalo's number 1. They have the head-to-head win against Kansas City. Same record. That's going to be put on the line this week. We'll talk about that in the very last game with the Buffalo Bills. They're playing a pretty tough opponent on Monday night. But, yeah, Kansas City all the way through. Denver fired Nathaniel Hackett. The only reason they didn't get rid of Russell Wilson is because they paid him so much damn money. Otherwise, they would have gotten rid of him too. I think that whole experiment in terms of Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson has failed. I'm not 100% giving up on Russ yet, but definitely, like, he's looked horrible this season, like, absolutely bad. So,
yeah, awful.
Who knows? Who knows what's going on there? Chris, you got anything you want to add on to this game?
No, I mean, I'm not a fan of firing a coach after 15 games. I mean,
that's tough, too.
Especially if he wasn't, like, doing anything illegal.
Plus, Wilson is hurt. I'm pretty sure we all know that. And he definitely needs to have some surgery to get fixed and get right. I mean, I'm not saying he deserved a whole nother season, but I would have at least kept the guy for the full season. In my opinion, I thought it was a little effed up, but he joined a short list of guys that lasted less than a season. So congratulations to him.
So real quick before Was he hired before they brought in the new ownership? He was, right? And Russell Wilson was brought beforehand too. So I think that is the main reason why he's no longer there. I think the ownership was like, look, we didn't even pick this guy. Like, we haven't liked what we saw from him so far, and it's not necessarily what the product on the field is. It's probably like overall just kind of what he brought to the organization is probably what they didn't like. So I think the ownership is more so to do with why he was fired.
Maybe a relationship issue or something with players or who knows.
Oh, that too. Like the overall team chemistry was horrible.
Yeah, probably wasn't great because they stink. But
Yeah.
anyways, Colts going to the New York Giants. I'm gonna make this one quick. I'm gonna take the Giants at home.
Are you sure about that, dude?
I'm gonna go with the big blue and and I think the Colts are gonna lose. Let's just say that.
I got the Colts going upset on the Giants.
Yeah,
Really?
you're doing that to your own
They
fan.
have been taking a lot of losses since Jeff Saturday's come in. They've only beaten the Raiders, and let's face it, they kind of suck because we'll get into them later.
Nick Foles.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of faith in him, but who knows what they're gonna do? I don't know. I feel like this game is definitely a game that the Giants can throw away, and I'm gonna pick against them.
You're a Giants hater, bro.
I am.
I know you are.
Yeah.
You always go
against your
them.
own pocket
Yeah,
too, bro.
man.
How
Bro.
dare you. I'm going with the Giants. I think the Giants know what's on the line here. They have a layup against the Indianapolis Colts in terms of, scheduling. Like, I'm not saying the Colts are like, no team in the NFL is worth like saying like, oh, definite win here, right? But the Colts haven't looked good, and that's been the moral of the story for their season. That's why they have an interim head coach right now. So those are the things that aren't in their favor. They benched their best possible QB, but he's looked like garbage. Sam Ehlinger should have got a chance to play a little bit last week. That was a little bit unfortunate for them. They kind of just wanted to ride it out with Nick Foles, but that didn't help out. By the way, Nick Foles is starting for them. So, Colts are not looking good. But the Giants, they went toe-to-toe with the Vikings last week, and they almost pulled off the win. But the Vikings just had a miraculous 61-yard field goal as the clock was expiring in the fourth quarter. So that's been the moral of the story for the Vikings this season. So they've had, 10 of their wins have been like less than one possession, which is absurd. And that was the story of them last year. They lost all these type of games. This year they're winning all those type of games. That's the reason why they're a top seed. Blah, 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 blah. We'll get to them later. But, Chris, why don't you take us to this next game?
Yeah, big game. Jaguars going to Houston, play the Texans. I'm riding with the Jags here, obviously. And they're going to take control of this division, and they're going to be in first place. And that's crazy to say because they've had such an up and down year. I thought they were going to win the division in the beginning. Then I thought they were out. Now I'm back in. So let's go, Jags. It is a big game. They do have the tiebreaker against Tennessee. So if Tennessee does lose, like I picked earlier.
They also play them in the last game of the season.
Right. And the Jags do win. Then the Jags they win the division. So congratulations to Jacksonville. I don't even know the last time they did that. Probably like 2008 or something with like David Garrard maybe. Mm-hmm. Or no, with Blake Bortles.
They made the playoffs with
in
Blake
2015, but I don't think they even won the division that year. Could be wrong. Anyways, riding with them here. Let's go Jags, baby.
Gotta go with the Jags as well. They've been looking really good. Texans are abysmal. This game's pretty easy to pick. Trevor Lawrence is going to keep her going.
T-Law.
And there we go. Yep.
T-Law.
Man. Now it comes to probably one of the bigger Trevor Lawrence haters of everyone here.
Oofta.
Trevor Lawrence, he's been looking good. I'm not saying he's looking great. I don't know what it is, but the team surrounding him is doing very well as well. Like they've finally, this is one of the quarterbacks you can point to right now that the team has built around him successfully, and it's not necessarily they don't have a positive record. They're sub 500, if I'm not mistaken. They're 7-8, right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like they're nothing to like be like, oh my God, we're winning our division. They're winning a losing division first and foremost. But circumstances have it as is. They're leading the division, and I think they end up taking a step ahead, especially with the Tennessee Titans expected to lose against the Dallas Cowboys. They have a pretty much clear shot to win, and possibly end the season on a high note with a positive record. So go Duval County, go Jacksonville Jaguars, and hopefully they can secure this division. But let's not sleep on the Houston Texans. They spoiled the Titan season last week. They could very well be spoilers here again. I don't think that's 100% the case, though. And now, big game for the Miami Dolphins. They go to New England, Foxborough, to play the Patriots, who haven't looked good. And I'm not going to say that the Dolphins haven't looked good either, but I feel like the Dolphins have been a little bit more competitive in their games. They just, also, the Patriots got some bad luck in Las Vegas. Bad luck, bad play calling, whatever you want to call it. And then almost came back against the Cincinnati Bengals last week, and it fell short. And Mac Jones is a dirty player. I don't know if you guys have seen the clips floating around. Dude's a dirty player. Trying to chop block on Eli Apple on the fumble return. Not cool, dude. Not cool.
He doesn't know what he's doing out there, bro.
He doesn't even know how to throw the damn ball. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. They need to win this game. I don't care that Tua's not playing. Expected not to play. Nothing is confirmed yet on whether or not he's going to play or not. I'm not expecting Dolphins to play him until possibly the playoffs at the earliest, and even then that's a stretch. That's because either they don't or they do make it to playoffs, and then on top of that, just let's see what Teddy brings to the table. Skylar Thompson's play is not ruled out yet. New England is favored to win this game, though. -3 on the spread, -165 on the money line. Over-under set at 41.5.
I'm going to agree with you, Austin. I'm going to ride with your Fins. Fins to the left, fins to the right, baby. Like you mentioned, must win. Must win.
For both teams, though.
Yeah, but I've seen the Patriots in the playoffs quite a bit.
You're over it?
I'd love to see the Dolphins in the playoffs. Like them and the Lions, both them. Like, if it's not the Bears, I'll ride with them since, this is my new home. It's your team. I'll ride with them. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is that bad. If he has a full week of practice, which he will now, getting starter reps, which I'm sure he has had a bunch this year anyways, and time to prepare, I think he could throw, pop flies to Tyreek Hill when he's wide, 10 yards open. So, I hope at least.
That's if Bill allows that to happen. And then on top of that, let's hope he doesn't play one snap and then get called out with a concussion.
That is true.
If that happens, I know the fix is in,
God.
and I would immediately switch to the Patriots. Any type of money line betting site you can do live betting there.
This game's tough.
It is.
No Tua. That really hinders my decision. Going New England. Not saying that I don't have a lot of faith in or that I don't want to see the Dolphins succeed. It's just It's tough, man. And especially in New England. Let's not act like New England is this rollover team, okay? No. They've played the Bengals tough last week.
Yep.
They were a drive away. A fumble cost them the game. So, let's take it easy when it comes to New England here. I don't think they're a slouch.
Nope.
If Tua was in, definitely would go Miami, but I'm going New England because he's not.
Nice. You want to take us to this next game?
I will. The New Orleans Saints are going to Philadelphia to face the Eagles, who can still clinch the number 1 seed with a win. They're trying to say that Jalen Hurts might play. I don't know about that. If not, it's Gardner Minshew time again. He did not win against the Cowboys, even though he did look pretty good. I think that the Eagles get their win this week. The Saints aren't looking that great. I know they still have a lot to play for. But they did just beat the Browns. They are coming off a win. They got a lot of momentum. I just think that Philly's a good all-around team, and that regardless of who's in quarterback in this matchup, that the Eagles are going to come out on top.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles at home. I love Gardner Minshew, and I've said that before. I think he's a quality quarterback. I like his post-game talks. I think he's funny. I think he's just a cool dude, honestly. I think we would be a cool guy to have a beer with, you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
I think Philly also needs to win because they want to keep that number 1 seed, and Dallas is, they could potentially overtake them to win the division, I think.
They need everything to go right.
If the Eagles lose out. So it's not like they can lose this game, honestly. Even though I think Hurts as well as a couple offensive linemen got hurt. So
Lane Johnson.
keep an eye on that. He said he's gonna not have surgery and he's gonna come back and play in the playoffs. Which, man, shout out to you for playing tough. I'm gonna go with them Dirty Birds at home.
Dirty Birds. I'm going with the Eagles as well. Yeah, I was gonna buy a Minshew jersey when I went to see them play the Chargers a while back, and the people I was at the game with were like, like he's like a French quarterback. Like, don't get his jersey. I'm like, no, that guy is a stud. He is the future of football. He ended up, necessarily not being the future of football in terms of like play, but just atmosphere and like just the embrace that he brings to him. Like he's nothing else. He's like nothing else. But that being said, yeah, I'm going with the Eagles. I think he brings a good poise to this team. The Saints haven't been a fan of what they've been doing with Andy Dalton. I would hope that you would see Jameis Winston, but it's too little too late for that for the Saints. But let's talk about one of the Dolphins teams that they have to worry about, and that's the New York Jets. New York Jets are going to Seattle to face the Seahawks. Mike White is expected to start. That is just an expectation. Hopefully he's good to go. If that's the case, then he really gives New York a chance. Otherwise, you got to go with Seattle here. But this is one of those fringe games for me that I could go either way on, flip-flop on. I think if Mike White plays, he does give New York an edge. But for the time being, I'll go with the Seahawks just as a security pick, as if he is not expected to play. But then again, New York is favored on the road, -1.5 on the spread, -120 on the money line, over/under set at 42.5.
I'm gonna roll with the Jets. Oh, my bad,
You're
Jerry.
good.
It's all good.
I thought Joe was talking first. Go ahead.
I'm gonna roll with the Jets. Like you mentioned, Mike White is gonna be back. Geno Smith, although has been one of the best storylines of kind of this year, I guess you could say, he's been looking rough in recent
Got hurt
games.
last week too.
Yeah, I got a little banged up too. Jets have a decent enough defense that I think they could get a road win. And Mike White's been averaging 300 and something yards every time he starts. So I'm gonna pick the Jets on the road. And like I mentioned earlier, I'd like seeing new teams in the playoffs. So hopefully they win and the Patriots lose.
Not cool, dude.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But I'm going with the Jets anyway. Got Mike White coming back. I think that they're going to do well. Seattle hasn't looked great the past couple of weeks, even though they have had some pretty unfavorable matchups. I don't know. I like the Jets this week with Mike White. Expect Garrett Wilson to go off in fantasy if you got him in the championship.
Yeah, just to be clear, guys, I'm going with Seattle for the time being. But if Mike White is 100% playing, we're going to the Jets. I just think the way he gets the team to go around him is way better than Zach Wilson does, because I don't think Zach Wilson's going to play another down ever again at least for the New York Jets. And National Football League is out there, but it's a possibility. I don't think he plays football again.
Tough.
And 100% I wouldn't put it for the New York Jets. But either way, we'll take it to the next game. We have the San Francisco 49ers at the Las Vegas Raiders. This is the first 4 o'clock game on New Year's Day. We have one of the best teams in football versus one of the worst teams in football, and they just announced that Derek Carr is no longer going to be the starter for the remainder of the season, since they are eliminated from the playoffs. I think the 49ers secured the NFC West, if I'm not mistaken. I know they for sure.
Yes, they did.
spot.
They won the division.
Yeah, they won the
2 weeks
division
ago.
last week, 2 weeks ago against the Seahawks. Yeah, that was right, on Thursday Night Football. Yeah, I think the 49ers just run away with this game. I don't know what it is with teams trying to start a quarterback against the best defenses in the NFL. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why would you even bother? Don't announce that you're starting Stidham this week. At least give him the starting reps and then, have Carr go out there and then, pull Carr, in the first quarter or something. Let them get loose a little bit, because otherwise they're just going to tee off on this guy.
Jeez, yeah. Shout out Derek Carr. Dude's probably on suicide watch right now, knowing him, man. This game really doesn't mean anything, I don't think, for the 49ers. So, maybe this dude comes out and wins a game for Vegas,
Stidham?
but I doubt it. I'm taking San Fran, even though it doesn't really matter, because if they lose, the next team below them in the playoffs is the Bucs, and who knows what's going to happen with them. I mean, they could potentially move up, too, so maybe they do try to win this one. I think either way, they easily beat this bad Raiders team.
Bad.
Yeah, so Devontae Adams, man.
How you feeling?
You messed up. It is what it is. We're still playing meaningful football up in Green Bay. Meanwhile, the Raiders are benching their quarterback, the guy that you wanted to go there for and everything.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, when you got two Hall of Fame, when you go from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer. Anyway. Yeah, I'm going with the 49ers. The Raiders suck. Terrible pick. You look greedy. You look like a scum. You look like a traitor.
Jeez, target.
Love you, Devontae, but this is just how it's looking now that the Raiders aren't, really in contention. Creature of the moment right now, kind of being monetary about it, but you messed up.
All right, who we got next, Joey?
We got the Los Angeles Chargers hosting the Los Angeles Rams.
Got you there for a second.
Same stadium, kind of deal. Same
Battle
first
SoFi.
name.
LA
LA versus LA. First battle of SoFi.
Yeah.
Okay.
First regular season battle, I think.
I believe that the Chargers are in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, Chargers secured themselves.
And they can't win their division because Kansas City.
No.
Correct.
So I think that they rest their starters. And I'm going with Baker Mayfield and everybody. I'm going with Baker Mayfield and the Rams. They look pretty good, except the game against us. And Chargers don't have a lot to play for. People start resting people and stuff like that. So I'm going with the Rams.
What do you got here, Chris?
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's going to be a tough one just to pick this because the Chargers don't really need to win. I think they're still going to play most of their starters and with enough time to get the win. I'm taking the home team Chargers here with Herbert. I think he's a much better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, even though Baker had a one-off game of his life last week. But I think Chargers get it done.
Baker's been pretty good since he's joined the Rams. He had the big comeback win against the Raiders and then a big demolishing of the Denver Broncos on Christmas. But you also got to credit the defense in that game. Yeah, that's why when he played the Green Bay Packers, he didn't look as good. So I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, if it's true that the Chargers are resting people, then I more than likely will switch to the Rams. But it just really depends on who's resting and who's not. And did you guys see that big hit there when James
Hell yeah.
laid on the Colts wide receiver?
Shit was nasty.
Dude, killed the guy, knocked him out instantly. And he got ejected from the game immediately. And, those are, you have the concussions that, Tua gets that very minimal. You can barely notice, and then you have guys dying on the field. Hope everything is all right with him. Both were evaluated for concussions. The Colts receiver got concussion. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name at the moment, but hope all is well.
Ashton Doolin.
Ashton Doolin.
Thank you. And, it's tough when you see stuff like that, but that's unfortunately part of the game. That's why a lot of people love it. That's why some people are trying to cancel and move on from it. But I know one thing we need to move on to, and I know Joey's waiting for it.
Hell yeah.
Is this next game.
All right. We got to set the stage here.
To get into character?
In the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, in potentially negative degree weather, the Minnesota Vikings are traveling to Green Bay, Wisconsin, in legendary Lambeau Field to play against the Green Bay Packers, who, if my pick is right with the Browns, could be win and you're in by the time they're playing at 4:30. Or we still might have a lot to play for regardless. Obviously, Minnesota going to be in the playoffs, already clinched the division, but they have a lot to play for as well as far as number one seeding. Who knows here, though? Maybe the Eagles lock up the number one seed at 1 o'clock, and they might be pulling people. I mean, I don't know what to think here, but I feel like it's a battle of the NFC North, and at the end of the day, they're going to try to kick our ass. We kind of pulled one out against Miami. We're kind of riding high right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose this game. That's why I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings here. They've looked great all year. We're kind of just, playing with house money right now. Hopefully we can get in. Hopefully we get the help we need. And I would love to be wrong on this pick.
Pulling the whole reverse psychology here, I see.
Yeah.
Did it last week.
I'm just saying how I
doing it again
calls it how it sees it.
Man, I feel a lot of reverse psychology here. What about you, Chris? You think you feel reverse psychology by Joey here?
I don't know, man. I can't believe you just did that to your boys.
After
I'm
all
ju-
that hype, bro.
Yeah, bro. After all that
All
talk,
that-
I'm just saying,
all that
dude.
hype.
all that
The
talk.
just saying,
frozen
look-
tundra.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm
hey,
going with the Vikings. Come on,
Wow.
dude. What is that?
got
What
to.
is that, bro?
Can't believe this guy.
I'm gonna agree though. I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I hope they keep the Packers out of the playoffs.
They won't.
And I don't know. I'm looking forward to the Vikings just going and having a field day in the frozen tundra.
Hell yeah.
Hey. All right. We need this. I may curse you guys by doing this.
You
but
know what?
Here we go. Give me that cheese head. We Packers need it more. Depending on what happens in the 1:00 game, like Joey alluded to, if the Eagles secured the number 1 seed next this upcoming game, then you can more assure that the Minnesota Vikings will kind of pull guys out. I wouldn't say bench them, like not start them, but they'll definitely play like up until halftime, and then I think Green Bay makes a game of it. But I could very well switch this at game time, but for the right now, I'm gonna go with the Packers. I just think they need it more, and you guys need a chance to make it into playoffs. So
Hell yeah.
win, and you're basically putting yourself right another step closer to making the playoffs. So why not go with the Green Bay Packers here?
Can't wait to be wrong about this pick. Go
You?
Pack, go.
Yeah,
baby.
you can't wait.
Can't wait to be wrong about this pick. Go Pack, go.
All right, Chris, take us to this next game.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty good game, as it normally is. A
Sunday Night
classic
Football.
game. Sunday Night Football. Steelers at Ravens. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. 7-8 Steelers. Still alive. Staying alive. Have won the last 2 games. Huge comeback. I think it was the last drive win against the Raiders last
Yeah, if you don't
week.
count like the kneeling,
Yeah.
it was the last drive.
10 points in the fourth quarter. You know, getting that win for Franco. Shout out
They
Mark.
had to like.
Hell
dude,
yeah.
If they would have lost the game, I would have lost. Like they would have lost our respect.
Called it. Told you there was some
I
magic in
think-
the air for Christmas, bro.
100%.
I think the Steelers play the Ravens tough, but it's hard for me to take them on the road. I'm going with the Ravens, even though that offense has been struggling
With no Lamar.
with no Lamar, which, I mean, I think, like I've said earlier, when Lamar's healthy, I think he's the best player in football. The most just talented player. It's hard to say defense, offense, but let's just say most talented, just gifted athlete on the field at all times. And it's hard to replace that because the team without him is honestly not that great offensively. And Huntley, even though he's decent, hasn't looked very good in the last couple of games. Hopefully they get a win because I think they're trying to lock up the division this week with a win.
They won't lock it up, but I'll talk more
Oh,
about
no,
that.
yeah,
I got
because
you.
Cincy's still there.
Mhm.
But they're still in the hunt for it,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Yeah, so Baltimore needs to win to give themselves a chance to win the division, but they can't win the division or secure the division with a win this week. I'm going to go with the Steelers. They've just been riding high, and one thing I want to add to that is I feel like they're just still playing for trying to end the season on a positive record for Coach Tomlin.
Yeah.
Because he's never had a losing season, and I don't think it happens this season. It's very close. They're
Very
right there.
close, yeah.
They need one more loss. It could happen this week, or it couldn't happen at all. Like, we don't know. And it would be interesting if the Steelers end up 9-8 and possibly have a shot at the playoffs next week. Who knows? So right now they could improve to 8-8, but that's a slim pipe dream. I don't 100% think the Steelers are going to win, but I'm going to go with them just for the sake of picking. But this is a tough game to pick.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. Pittsburgh has looked great the past couple weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and Baltimore hasn't. I'm going with Pittsburgh. And they're still alive somehow. And I don't bet against Mike Tomlin. I don't bet against
It's
the
hard
Pittsburgh.
to bet against them.
Let's do it. Going with the
Let's
Steelers.
do it.
All right, and then to kick off Monday Night Football,
Great game.
we have probably one of the best matchups of the week.
Let's go.
This is big playoff implications. This is probably the biggest of all the playoff implications of the season, of this week, I mean. And that is the Buffalo Bills at the Cincinnati Bengals, Monday Night Football. Buffalo is favored -1 on the spread, -115 on the money line. It was -105 for Cincinnati when I wrote down these odds. So it's pretty much a pick 'em between the two of them. And then over-under set at 49.5. Oh, man. So, basically, Buffalo wins this. They can almost guarantee themselves the number 1 seed in the AFC. If Cincinnati wins it, they give themselves a chance to win the number 1 seed because they beat Kansas City and they beat if they win, they would have beaten Buffalo. So those are the tiebreakers there for them. The only thing is they would need Kansas City to lose because Kansas City currently has a better record than the Cincinnati Bengals. The odds of Kansas City losing, slim to none. They're just a machine at this moment. This is a really tough matchup to pick. You have Buffalo, who shakiness at the midpoint of the season, kind of having like losses to the Jets and stuff like that. Josh Allen getting hurt. But they've found a way to overcome that stuff. And then Cincinnati Bengals are rolling with Jamar Chase coming back, but he's been kind of in and out of the lineup just in terms of maintenance and stuff like that, just making sure he's all good because they pretty much have themselves a playoff spot secured. They just want to make sure they can get in there healthy. I'm going to go with the home team. I want to make things interesting. I want the Bengals to win this one out and make things difficult for Buffalo. Make them really have to earn that first seed. So, yeah, I'm going with Cincinnati.
I'm going to agree with you, Austin. I'm going to take the home team in the Bengals. And, yeah, I mean, out of these two teams, we always pick the Bills as the better team, but who was in the Super Bowl last year? Bengals. I'm going to go with them. Like you mentioned, though, it does have a lot of implications in this game. I'm looking forward to it. It's just a great Monday night game.
Yeah,
it's 100%
awesome. Watching it from start to finish.
Yeah, and, I mean, Kansas City has a much easier schedule than the Bills. So the Kansas City very well could win. I mean, they play the Raiders the last week and Denver this coming week. And then Buffalo plays Cincy, obviously. And then they play the Patriots. So you never know. I'm going to take Cincy, Joe Shiesty at home. And I think this is just going to be a shootout, man.
You think so?
I think so.
This will be huge if the Buffalo Bills lose the number 1 seed because they were probably hoping to get like Josh Allen some rest for his elbow, stuff like that. So who knows?
I think the new format don't the 2 top teams
get just one. No,
just
before
one?
it was the top 2. Now it's just the
now
top
it's just
seed.
one. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Joey?
True.
All right, this is tough.
It's really hard. It wasn't easy.
I don't care about what teams are playing right now. I got Skyline Chili going up against Buffalo Chips right now. I'm torn. But at the end of the
Which one do
day,
you like more?
I'm going Buffalo Chips, baby.
Hey-o.
Listen, the Buffalo Bills need a win right now. I do love Joe Shiesty. I do love Skyline Chili. Do love everything that the Bengals have going on. They're a very explosive offense, explosive team, hard not to root for. One game apart. This is such a tough game to pick. But, I'm going with Buffalo. I feel like they've pinned to win the Super Bowl, pinned to be this number 1 team since the start of the year. They need to come through on primetime television on Monday Night Football and prove that they are still that team. I've doubted you a lot this year, Josh Allen. Now's the time to come through.
Oh, here we go. Well, that pretty much wraps up our Week 17 NFL game picks. Any closing statements? I know Joey has something to get off his chest.
Just picking against the pack, but, hopefully I'm wrong this week, and we're still cruising to a potential playoff berth, 2 games out. Hopefully we get the big win from Cleveland and get some help. So go Browns. Pack, go too.
Is that like the main thing you guys need to happen?
Yes.
And then
the
win.
Giants could lose this week and next week, kind of why I picked the Giants.
The Colts, yeah.
Or picked against the Giants. But yeah, it's easier if Washington loses one more game and we win out.
Okay.
So they could also lose next week against Dallas if they don't lose this week. But starters are going to be pulled, so let's go Browns.
Yeah, the seeding next week is all going to be scrambled up just because of people pulling other people. Like some people are like satisfied with being in the playoffs and like they don't care what spot they get, and they'll pull guys no matter what. Other people are like, no, we'd rather have this space. So who knows what happens there? Hopefully the Dolphins can get their win so they can move a step closer. It doesn't guarantee them a playoff spot, but the one thing it does is put them in the driver's seat because let's say the Jets actually do beat Seattle this week. That's the only team I really see competing with the Dolphins for that last playoff spot in the AFC. So it will come down to Week 18 between the Dolphins and the Jets, and hopefully the Dolphins can be 9-7 heading into that game. that would be a big difference maker. But yeah, let's hope things go well.
Bears most likely are gonna lose again. But yeah, this week is gonna this week's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great week of football. And it's the first day of the new year. So, well, except for
Sunday, yeah,
for Sunday games.
Mm-hmm.
So what a way to bring in the new year, and I think it's gonna be a great day. So a great day of football. Shout out Steve for the website.
Yeah,
Yes,
shout out to
sir.
Steve. Thank you,
Yep.
Steve.
Yeah.
But with that being said, concludes week 17. All of you guys, Happy New Year. Still got the holiday
New
lights up.
Year's.
Let's see if they're still there for the next video. We don't know.
I like them.
It's a nice little touch.
I like
isn't
them.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We might keep them.
Anyways, hope you guys
My
enjoyed
redneck
watching
it out.
Hey, we almost made it through a whole episode.
Yeah.
Dude, no, you already got canceled.
A little white trash Christmas never hurt nobody.
Hey, hell yeah, brother.
Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed week 17. Catch you guys next week. Peace.